Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Could be another rough day for retirement funds. S&P 500, Dow and NASDAQ futures all plunged over the weekend as Nebraska Republican Don Bacon said he's introducing a bill that would rein in the president's tariff powers. He says it faces a tough road, but might get enough bipartisan votes to pass in the Senate. Without anything to stop them, the Trump administration says these new tariffs will be sticking around. Amy Kiley has more.
The tariffs are coming.
The Trump administration is doubling down on tariffs as stock markets around the world plunge. Those in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand report early losses today. Tumbles in U.S. stock futures yesterday follow back-to-back sell-offs last week.
I went back and I looked for drops of 15% with a president who was inheriting a bull market. There's only one dude on your screen. It's Donald John Trump.
Here's the president responding last night when asked about the market volatility.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
A universal 10% tariff on all imports is now in effect after starting on Saturday. This Wednesday, additional duties on products from dozens of countries are set to begin.
There is no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks.
President Donald Trump says he only wants to make deals with countries that close trade deficits with the U.S. He insists tariffs will be good for Americans in the end and predicts a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing. Experts agree the duties might help certain domestic producers, but most mainstream economists say they will also lead to higher prices.
Basically, at this point, you average all these different companies together who put forecasts out on the chance of a recession. It's about 50-50.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Meanwhile, as mentioned, Omaha Representative Don Bacon is introducing legislation Monday that would give Congress increased control over tariffs. The bill identical to one introduced by Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley last week. Bacon says he's expecting he'll be able to find fellow Republicans to co-sponsor his bill. He told CBS's Face the Nation Sunday that Congress's deferral of constitutionally granted authority on tariffs was intended to only be used for emergencies.
I think if we get 60 votes in the Senate, they'll put pressure on the House to look at this. And if we continue to see the stock market go a certain direction, or if we see inflation or unemployment shift in a bad way, I think then this bill becomes a very viable bill. So it will not pass tomorrow or maybe in the next couple of weeks, but this will be in the queue that we can use. And it's time that Congress restores its authorities here. And the Constitution is clear. The House and the Senate, Congress has the power of tariffs and taxes, and we gave some of that power to the executive branch. And I think in hindsight, that was a mistake.
One tariff Bacon said he would support, one on Russia, which was one of the few countries that did not face a tariff from President Donald Trump in his announcement last week. Senator Grassley introduced a similar bill in 2019.
When the next severe weather event happens, don't get caught in the dark. Power your kitchen, HVAC, and communication systems with a Jackery solar-capable generator. Just click on our YouTube affiliate shopping tab and you're on your way.
In reaction to all of this, protesters took up corners at the busiest intersection of Kearney on a cold and windy day over the weekend. Kearney, one of over 1,200 known locations in all 50 states, taking off in the so-called hands-off protests, an international effort regarded as the single largest demonstration during President Donald Trump's second term. People attended said they're against the current philosophies and actions of the White House administration, in particular Elon Musk. The Department of Government Efficiency making changes to the ways of spending in Washington, D.C., which brought people out to protest for their own reasons.
I am a Republican, but I do not agree with what is being done now. There's a right way to correct things, and the way it's being done now is not correct.
They are primarily interfering with legally appropriated funds that Congress has given to these many branches out there. Departments like USAID and the Department of Education, and they are now dismantling those places in the name of supposed waste.
We can't afford groceries. We have to have roommates to just rent one place. There's so much wrong in our economic system and our country that we're just blind to it. I mean, everybody is suffering from something, yet we seem to only care about 1% of our population. The hope for this protest is that people start to wake up. Our country is on fire, people are dying, people are getting injured, and people are being forgotten, being abused, being neglected. Hopefully, some people start to wake up.
Meanwhile, a small gathering in North Platte was held as well for the hands-off protest, while over 100 gathered in Scotts Bluff on Saturday. All three of those protests taking place in the 3rd Congressional District, which has gone for Republicans in every election since 1960. Thousands gathered at separate protests as well in Lincoln and Omaha. The state's high court weighing in on a hog confinement application in north central Nebraska. The Nebraska Supreme Court on Friday upheld a lower court's ruling about the legality of a proposal for an area southwest of the town of Crookston in Cherry County. A conditional use permit granted by the county in 2021 to Danielski Harvesting and Farming allowed for the construction to happen. After it was approved, a nearby landowner filed a lawsuit. They said the permit was improperly issued, but the state's high court said Friday all zoning requirements were met and the application can proceed. An electronics recycling event held over the weekend in Beatrice with a crew of volunteers braving a cool and windy Saturday to help gather up old electronic items that had been brought in by area residents.
We get a lot of TVs, a lot of flat screen TVs. I know I've had to bring several myself, with kids and balls, and, they get broke pretty easily, I feel like. So we get a lot of flat screen TVs. With the electronics these days, the life expectancy of them are not very long. Batteries go dead or whatever like that, and people just have to keep replacing them.
Keep Beatrice Beautiful coordinates the event held at the Indian Creek Mall next to Harbor Freight Tools. Residents could bring in old laptops, towers, monitors, keyboards, TVs, cell phones, even printers. Hawk says Keep Beatrice Beautiful conducted 2 of the recycling events last year, hauling in over 9,000 pounds worth of electronics. Well, after years of planning and construction, the Kearney SportsPlex is now open, a gigantic facility, 12% larger than your average Walmart, and sitting right next to I-80. Michael Shively gave us our first look inside.
Name a sports surface, pick nearly any sport, and you can now experience it under one roof in central Nebraska. Luckily, it's a pretty big roof.
There's really nothing like this between Omaha and Denver, so it's truly one of a kind in central Nebraska.
Kearney voters approved a 1% restaurant tax in 2021 to fund the $46 million Kearney SportsPlex. Lauren Brandt started as SportsPlex manager in 2023 and is now welcoming the complex's first users as director in 2025.
Oh, there's not enough words that can express how meaningful it is to finally have the public in and being able to see and play throughout the building. Like I said, it's just the culmination of so many people's efforts and hard work and the vision that has come to life.
It's tough to truly fathom the size of this gymnasium. 60,000 square feet, home to up to 12 volleyball courts, 8 high school regulation basketball courts, each with their own scoreboard. You can fit up to 3,000 spectators in here on the bleachers. Plus, that's the 300-meter track up top. And the good news, you don't even have to be good to play.
Just the ability to kind of transform and immediately go across the hall, and you can go from a field turf to a gymnasium to a pickleball court to a running track. I mean, to have all of those amenities in one house.
That range of options and sheer size make it unique. Brandt says those characteristics will help the SportsPlex to benefit the community in 2 ways: boosting the economy through events and providing locals with access to court and field space.
When we look back in the next 3 to 5 years and just see what an impact this has had, not only for Kearney residents, but for our nearby communities and then overall Nebraska as a whole, I think that's what really makes it special.
In Kearney, Michael Shively, News Channel Nebraska.
And as the hometown of renowned author Willa Cather, the city of Red Cloud hosts more than 10,000 tourists a year, but until now, they had limited options for lodging. But investors and donations led by the Willa Cather Foundation allowed for a $9 million transformation of a historic building into Hotel Garber. Local leaders took our cameras on a tour.
We're in the brand new Hotel Garber. It's a lovingly restored 1901 building. It used to be called the Potter Block, but now it is a 27-room boutique hotel right here in the heart of downtown Red Cloud.
In the lobby, we have, of course, displayed a little bit about the history of the Potter building and its rehabilitation. And then there's, of course, a cozy seating area and a small library. This is room 301. This is our 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom loft, which will sleep 6 guests. In 1961, the 3rd floor of the building caught fire and was a total loss. It was gutted and never rebuilt until the recent rehabilitation. So we did what we could to try to make the corridors really inviting and unique. You can see the room numbers on the lights on the walls all the way down the corridor. And then the corridors are also outfitted with historic photographs of early day Red Cloud from the collections at the National Willa Cather Center are in front of the Potter Wright building.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. About 1912. So the building would have been about 10 years old at that time. Well, the lower level of the hotel houses 2 conference rooms that will really be multi-purpose spaces for residencies, artist workshops, retreats, other events. So behind me, we have the Creative Hub, as we're calling it, which has original tile floors, and the wall tile's original too. It was a bathhouse when the building was first built. Well, this is my favorite room in the hotel. This is the dining and lounge area. The light fixtures behind me were originally in a church, the EUB church in Jewel, Kansas, just across the border. And then the light fixture in front of the elevator came from the courtroom at the Webster County Courthouse. And the back bar behind me came from a saloon in Superior, Nebraska.
Here in these final weeks, see it all come together. It's just an amazingly beautiful place, and you know, the exterior, every time you drive into Red Cloud, it's one of the first things you see, and you know, to have been a part of that is just really, really just fills me with a lot of pride.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.